So in Europe, we basically follow the recommendations of the European Association for the Study of Liver Disease, and they have been recently updated in 2018. Here we recommend the performance of ultrasound twice a year, every 6 months. This is an interesting aspect in terms of differences worldwide. In Asia, the addition of alpha-fetoprotein assessment is more or less mandatory. In the US, it's optional, and in Europe, it's not recommended. So there are discrepancies throughout the world. In real world, I would say most physicians indeed include alpha-fetoprotein testing into the armamentarium and add it to ultrasound. The problem here is that if we watch what results we get, then we realize in most countries in Europe only detect early stage cancer in about 25% or so, telling us that we are not adhering very well to screening programs, because otherwise we would be much better. The best example here is Japan. They are very successful. They detect the vast majority of their patients in early stage and demonstrate that screening programs can be effective. But in Europe overall, it's safe to say that in many countries, patients are just neglected. Cirrhotics are not regularly screened, although the recommendations are very clear.
So what are typical screening procedures in US for liver cancer? So in patients who are high risk, these are people with hepatitis C and cirrhosis, and people with chronic hepatitis B infection are at risk of developing liver cancer. So in those high-risk patients, we usually recommend doing ultrasound every 6 months to assess for any liver nodules or liver cancer. And we also add alpha-fetoprotein as one of the tumor markers in assessing those patients. Now, we have to understand that ultrasound is operator dependent. Therefore, in an institution where you cannot have a reliable ultrasound technicians who can do the procedures in a good way, then we recommend doing either a CT scan or MRI.
At-risk population in Asia is hepatitis B virus related cirrhosis, and also in Japan, hepatitis C related cirrhosis at risk for HCC. And screening procedure in Asia, mostly using ultrasound and AFP every 6 months. But in Japan, more intensive surveillance is performed, like ultrasound plus 3 tumor markers, AFP plus PIVCA2 and AFPL3 are measured every 3 to 4 months. Plus, for cirrhotic patients, every 6 to every 12 months, dynamic CT or EOB MRI are recommended to take. So it's more extensively performed in Japan.